All right, we're live. Okay. After issue with Twitter there that I'll have to kind of fix in a second. We are live tonight. Welcome in 8:01 as I get you going here on a Thursday night. Got the TVs going, got the Christmas tree fixed, got South Carolina up 8 on Louisville. The Carolina Hurricanes, I believe, are down 2 right now to the Toronto Maple Leafs. Let's make sure we turn that off. That's not going well. We got some NFL football coming on with the Lions and the Cowboys. That should be a lot of fun to watch. So we got a lot going on tonight, or you can go down a path with maybe a Christmas movie, or you can really go down a path if you want to and watch Stranger Things. I don't know if that's the direction you want to go, but hey, everybody live your own life, do what you want to, and go from there. All right, let me put this up on Twitter here as we're doing this because it used to be just pop up a. It would used to just tell everybody that we're live on Twitter. Live right now. We're going to be talking Gamecock sports tonight. We're going to be talking about the Gamecock sports. We're going to be talking about Julian Walker. Let's see here. Let's get this up. Julian Walker has officially signed and flipped from Michigan. That was huge today, and we'll talk about that. Put that on Twitter. And let's see. We're going to go Landon Duckworth. Boy, was that an interesting little back and forth. But he officially signs with the Gamecocks over LSU and Lane Kiffin, to be honest. Gamecocks today, at least nothing official, but it sounds like they have parted ways. We'll put parted ways with running back coach Marquel Blackwell. I'm doing this on Twitter. That's why if you were like, what the heck are you doing? That's what I'm doing. And then the final thing for tonight that I have written down is the OC hire, and time frame. And we'll hit all that here. If you got questions, you can weigh in. You know how to do that and be a part of it. And look forward to talking with a bunch of you here as we go through the evening. Don't plan on doing this like for a full 2 hours or anything. It's stuff I like to do. But chance right now to talk a little Gamecock sports and get kind of involved. Hope you're doing well again. All right, now we're off and running. Now we're off and running, and feel good with what we got posted up on the internet. Learning, we're still learning. I'm not even going to try and lie to you that this whole thing has been easy. But let's start with Julian Walker today and his decision to flip from Michigan to the University of South Carolina. This was something that obviously South Carolina had been trying desperately to try and make happen over the last several months. They finally pull it off. It comes all the way down to the day after signing day. Now, as we're in that signing period, but the Gamecocks really needed to land Julian Walker. In-state prospect, just a freak of an athlete. I've said it multiple times today. Give him credit. Give credit where credit's due. Preston Thorne saw him last year in the state championship game against Somerville and raved about Julian Walker. He's listed at 6'6" and a half, 200 and he's listed at 252 pounds. Take that for what it's worth. But this is a guy who I don't know if he's expected to enroll early. The little thing by his name on 24/7 Sports does not seem to indicate that he is enrolling early. But if he were, you would expect him to be the guy who comes in and competes for a starting job right off the bat as South Carolina will look to find that second edge rusher to pair, hopefully, with Dylan Stewart. And again, you just heard me read off the measurables of Julian Walker, and Walker now up to the number 85 player in the class of 2026 for college football. So this isn't just some chump that the Gamecocks landed. Plenty of offers from a lot of different places. And you know what? I love what South Carolina's done at the edge position. It is entirely based on potential, but with that being said, You've got Dylan Stewart, who should be back. I mean, we got to continue to monitor this, right? Like we assume Dylan Stewart will be back, but you got Desmond Yumi Zulu, who I thought was coming around towards the end of the year, was starting to play a lot better. You've also got Jalen Brown, who was a big time transfer portal recruit last year from Maryland, who apparently suffered a knee injury in spring ball, or even maybe even before spring ball, and never really got going and was injured this year and didn't play. So therefore, you got him, and now you add Julian Walker, and that doesn't count some of the young guys like an Anthony Addison. They talked at times about moving Donovan Darden down to an edge position. I think they're going to leave him at linebacker. But South Carolina's got all of a sudden some edge guys that are freaky athletic, that are skilled, and that, for at least for 1 year, you can pair with Dylan Stewart and maybe give you that 1-2 punch coming off the edge that you need to have in the SEC. So I think we talk about Julian Walker, and it's so important to land him. He had been to so many games. Obviously, his father being on staff was highly important, and that's what kept that connection going. He did take the official visit to Michigan the final weekend of the season and saw them take on um, Ohio State, and of course that didn't go particularly well for Michigan. But with that being said, you end up landing him, and that was your ultimate goal. Land Julian Walker, and he does that. He completes the flip, and now you pair him with those guys. And going into the spring, to me, the defensive end with the most to prove and with the biggest opportunity is Desmond Yumi Zulu. He's been around for a while. Deju, I thought again was starting to play better, and he's the guy that ideally, because remember he was a high 4 star. He was a guy that South Carolina beat out Penn State and Ohio State 4 years ago out of the DC area, out of the Maryland area. Excuse me. And Desmond is a guy. It's time to step up. It's time to live up to that high 4 star ranking, that mid 4 star ranking that he had. And you get him going, and then you've got backups in Jalen Brown and Julian Walker, and all of a sudden you feel really good as long as you can keep a guy like Gabriel Brownlow Dindy on the team. That was a guy that's going to be very important to me today. Obviously, the news coming out that Xavion Hardy will enter the transfer portal, which concludes kind of a wild recruitment. Move this camera around for just a minute. Apologize. Which concludes a wild recruitment for him. He had committed out of high school, couldn't get into school, goes to junior college, commits to Mississippi State, ends up flipping last year from Mississippi State to South Carolina, comes here, maybe got hurt, maybe fell behind on the depth chart, maybe couldn't get the job done, whatever the situation was. Xavier Hardy never works out, plays in one game and transfers, announces his intention to transfer today. And I assume he's a good player. So I'm going to assume that is a little bit of a blow there for the Gamecocks in terms of losing an interior guy. 6'5", 290 is what he was listed at. But you talk about these edge guys, and you talk about the development of the interior guys like Gabriel Brownlow Dindy, Christian Ingram, obviously, is another guy that you want to develop a little bit. Certainly, you got Noah Clark and Aiden Harris coming in, and we'll be able to see what they do. But step in the right direction, and then you hit the transfer portal. You hit the transfer portal, and you try and find yourself a big time defensive tackle that would go and pair well with all of those guys. And if you do that and you build depth, you continue to build depth. And I'll tell you what, Troy Pikes at the end of the season, I thought he played his best game against Clemson. I don't know if he is a starter, but he gave you some really quality snaps there in that Clemson game. That's a guy maybe you can count on to continue to improve. So the addition of Julian Walker really, really big today, I thought, for South Carolina, and certainly something that even though the season was 4-8, even though there's some dramatics going on, even though this is nowhere we're where we want to be, something that you can actually be happy about and be kind of excited about. And I mentioned that I posted the Twitter video today just because I mean it goes to show you the difference a year makes from a year ago. It was a year ago, the 6th, but it was a year ago tomorrow night, Friday night, that We had they had whoever had the NIL deal down at the township with Darius Rucker, and Darius Rucker was singing. And you had Shane and Sean Elliott. I put the video up of the excitement coming off a 9-3, beating Clemson and doing all that. And boy, what a difference a year makes! As now we're talking about Shane Beamer's job and trying to hire an offensive coordinator and all the intangibles that are going with that. So it just goes to show you what college football is today. But good news today for Julian Walker landing him. It was a good day all the way around. Feel free to add some comments. Adam asks a comment that I wasn't going to get into, but I'll answer it. How many running backs you get in the portal? I mean, quite frankly, it depends on how you truly feel about Jorwan Howe and Matthew Fuller and Isaiah Gustav. Those are your three running backs. I think you got to add two at bare minimum. You got to have five scholarship guys. And the losing of Amari Thomas, which I didn't think was a big loss to Florida State. I wasn't that thrilled with Amari Thomas. I don't think he's gonna. Maybe he goes to Florida State and is a Heisman winner, and I look like a complete goofball. And we got it on video, but I wasn't an Amari Thomas fan. I wasn't real thrilled with that commitment at the time. I was thrilled with the pros the possibility of adding Carson Baker. Now Carson Baker ended up signing with Texas A&M, and maybe that's the reason Marquel Blackwell is now looking for a job because my goodness, I don't know how you can be so bad, and South Carolina has been so bad at signing high school running backs. It's just absolutely atrocious. But I was actually excited. I thought Carson Baker would have been one of the steals of the class. He was 6'1", 215. He's an SEC type back. Had been committed to Florida. I apologize. I was starting to yawn a lot. He had been committed to Florida and decommitted there once they lost out or once they lost Billy Napier. Kudos, by the way, Billy Napier on getting the James Madison job. But I thought South Carolina was going to get Carson Baker, and I thought that was going to be a great pickup. And they don't get him. And so to answer your question, Adam, uh, I think you got to go get two. And quite frankly, I think one of them's got to be a stud. I think one of them has to be running back one, RB1. I don't think you can just go out and get two bodies out of the transfer portal at the running back position. I think you need legitimate big boy dudes with tudes that are going to come in like a Rocket Sanders, and they may command some NIL. One of them may command some NIL money. Find it, make it happen. Be ready to compete with the big boys. Get yourself a running back, but grand total got to get to five. Live video at 8:15 at night. Normally it's about bedtime. So there's that. Now Adam also asked, how long do you give sellers to make a decision? Well, look, number one, the transfer portal doesn't truly open up till January. I think we'll have a decision from Lenora Sellers by the end of next Friday. I would say next Friday. I think Shane Beamer, if I'm Shane Beamer right now, my job, my goal is to get this offense coordinator hired. I wouldn't worry about the time frame. I know people are freaking out about it. Look, the big thing on Shane Beamer is make the right hire. Just for all that is holy, make the right hire, get the right guy in, and go from there. If it takes an extra week, fine. It's no skin off my back. It gives me something to talk about. It shouldn't bother you. So far, no names that South Carolina legitimately was going to land have disappeared. I look up, South Carolina's up 3, by the way, and boy, Tessa Johnson just airballed a 3 that was about 3 feet left of the rim. But you know, get this offensive coordinator hired done. But do it, and hire the guy you need. It doesn't affect any of us if it takes a week or two. It doesn't matter if he makes the hire tomorrow and the hire is not working mid-season. It ain't gonna matter for bleep that he didn't waste any time. Just hire the right guy. And I know Buster Faulkner again went to Florida today. I don't think they had a great chance at him. I think it's going to end up being Kevin Decker from Old Dominion is my guess as we sit here on Thursday night. And I'd be happy with that. I I don't know. The guy's never called upper echelon college football, and that's a concern. And by that, I mean he's only been at the Old Dominion level. But I would be okay with Kevin Decker. So, if you're Sellers, uh, if you're Beamer, get your OC hire done, and then you approach Lenore Sellers and be like, all right, I got to make some decisions here on our team for 2026. What is your decision if you have not already gotten one? So that's where I stand with that. Let's go. Speaking of quarterbacks, let's go to the other news of the day. The Gamecocks. This was crazy. All right, Landon Duckworth is signed. He is in the boat. He is coming to Carolina. Unless something crazy happens, which, quite frankly, who's to say it doesn't at this point? Landon Duckworth has constantly seemed like a guy who has looked to go anywhere else. He commits, he decommits, he's committed, he takes a visit to LSU. He reaffirms his commitment. Lane Kiffin and LSU call. The next thing you know, he's considering flipping. Hale McGranahan on our radio show said yesterday there's somebody in his camp that was very pro LSU. All right, so be it. The bottom line is Landon Duckworth has now officially signed with South Carolina. And let me be very clear about this. Landon Duckworth is a very good quarterback. You want guys like that in your system. Okay, if they'd have lost him, it wouldn't have been the world's biggest blow because you can kind of solve the quarterback issue, especially for a guy that likely isn't going to start in 2026. But you want a Landon Duckworth going through spring ball, fall ball, getting ready to participate for a potential starting challenging spot in 2027. You don't want him being on somebody else's roster. So it was good to land him. The situation to get there was a little iffy. And, he's going to me, he's going to need to show some dedication to the program. Right now, I hate to say it like this. I feel like you've already got him on transfer watch at the end of next season, but he is here at least for his freshman season, as far as we know, with Cutter Woods and Aaron Nolan. So good news there. I don't know why I'm yawning like that all of a sudden. I was perfectly fine. I drank coffee earlier today, went by Starbucks, and water. This is water. Take a sip, and cold water at that. But that's good news for South Carolina with Landon Duckworth. What else did I have written down? Oh, running backs coach. So this might have been the surprise of the day. Marquel Blackwell being released. Now, you know, I don't know. The situation with Blackwell's been very strange. Obviously, if you remember last year, he came to South Carolina and almost instantly was tied in with the Ohio State job. Remember last year, James Coley came to South Carolina and then left for the Georgia job. And we're all like looking around like, Shane, you got these coaches you hire and then they go take other jobs. And Marquel Blackwell was all of a sudden mentioned for the Ohio State job. If you remember, he was supposed to do a spring practice interview with the media and ended up not doing it. And we all kind of questioned and wondered what exactly was happening and what was going on. And so, with all that in mind, we never really heard from him. We heard from him in the preseason, but we never really heard from him after that. And so, you let Marquel Blackwell go. And look, again, the running back recruitment like South Carolina is landing offensive linemen with no problem. South Carolina lands quarter, and yet for some reason, somehow, some way, can't seem to land running backs. It makes zero sense because you'd be like, well, nobody wants to run behind that line. Well, if you're an offensive lineman and you keep seeing those linemen not develop, do you want to come play for that? If you're a quarterback and you keep seeing these guys take sacks, do you want to come play for that? Well, apparently those guys did. Apparently those guys didn't mind it, but for some reason they couldn't get running backs. And so now Marquel Blackwell's out. it appears. South Carolina's not made an official statement on that. But if he is indeed, that leaves now your quarterback coach, your running back coach, uh, your tight end, offensive line coach. I don't know what's going to happen with Sean Elliott moving forward, but that's kind of where things would be in terms of you've got now 3 openings on your offensive staff, and you're hoping like crazy that you don't lose anybody on your defensive staff, that Torian Gray or any of those people don't bolt on you. Hold on, I got to check my phone. We had a middle school basketball game tonight, and it appears we lost. Oh, Austin. Of course, my son is out with a torn ACL, and I'm told that the Gilbert 8th grade middle school team lost it tonight. They were up 8 in the fourth quarter. Sorry to cut into my soliloquy on the running back coach, but I'm told that the Gilbert 8th grade middle school team was up 8 going into the fourth quarter and lost by 10. That's not good. But my son is out with a torn ACL. He will be hopefully be back in February, but we're going to hold him out until June, to make sure he's got 12 months of full recovery. But back to what I was saying on Marquel Blackwell, you got 3 offensive spots open. Defensively, you don't want to lose Torian Gray to Virginia Tech. You don't want to lose Clayton White. I don't care what any of y'all say. You don't want to lose Clayton White to another job. You certainly don't want to lose Sterling Lucas, who's done a good job with the edges. Travian Robertson probably isn't going anywhere, so you feel comfortable with him, but you don't want to lose these guys. But on the offensive side now, running back coach, and they need to upgrade. That's you got to hit a dynamic recruiter. I mean, South Carolina has got to hit a dynamic recruiter. Teaching running backs is not overly hard. There's a little bit of blitz pickup there, but South Carolina's got to hit a guy who can flat out kick it out of the box, knock it out of the box, recruiting wise. And if they don't do that, that's a failure. And then you assume Kevin Decker or whoever the offensive coordinator is will be the quarterback's coach. And at times, the offensive coordinator wants to bring his offensive line coach because they mesh well together. And if that's the case, then you can move Sean Elliott back to tight end. So that's kind of the coaching situation there. South Carolina, Louisville are going to the fourth quarter now. The Gamecocks are up a point here, 63-62. Louisville getting a steal there close towards the end with an easy layup. Women's team, and this is not to be taken as offensive, they are still among the nation's elite. They are still a national championship team, but by no means are they the alphas anymore of women's college basketball. They are not just head and shoulders above of everybody. There's a lot of teams that have caught them. We saw them losing to Texas the other day. They're only up a point again as we go to the fourth period there up in Louisville. I believe they're at Freedom Hall is where they're playing too. It looks like they're at Freedom Hall, which is pretty cool, and not the KFC Yum Center where the guys play. And then the Hurricanes are heading to the third period, and they're down. No, excuse me, second period. First period is over. First intermission. We're in the first intermission, and the Hurricanes are down 2-1, but they outshot the Maple Leafs 13-7. So TV tonight, and then getting going here just about now, and we'll start to wrap this up. Getting going is the Lions and the Cowboys. Scratch my calf down there for a second. This is true live on the fly discussion straight out of the recliner tonight as I try to do some dialysis and stay warm. Offense coordinator situation. So Kevin Decker is the guy that I'm kind of watching, keeping an eye on. We'll see what happens with him. Jason Beck has been mentioned at offense coordinator Utah. That would certainly be a brand name guy. Has coordinated at the Big 12 level. Utah had Devin Dampier this year, a running quarterback in the mold of Lenore Sellers. So he could step in and run his system, and it would fit Lenore's pretty well. I do expect an announcement in the relatively near future. I probably think that it comes no later than Tuesday or Wednesday of next week at the latest. It wouldn't surprise me to see it done tomorrow. I do think the fact that we did not get an official statement on Marquel Blackwell today leads me to believe that they're saving all of this for one big press conference from Shane Beamer. I'll also go on to say that on the record that it wouldn't surprise me to see this go through the weekend to get everything kind of sorted out. And that's fine. Again, whoever, whatever, whomever he hires, I don't care how long it takes. Now, if we start seeing some of the names, Kevin Decker, Jason Beck, some of the names that Brad Glenn, if we see these guys signing extensions or being snapped up by other schools, you start to wonder what's going on. But quite frankly, you know, nobody's been snapped up so far, so it's hard to say that Shane Beamer is dragging his feet or has wasted his time. It looks like he's trying to deal with one thing at a time, and quite frankly, let's be honest. After that season that he just had, keeping that recruiting class intact was a significant victory for him. If you didn't see today, they are ranked 20th in recruiting by the 24/7 Sports composite rankings. I think it was 24/7 Sports has them ranked at 17th overall. But if you do the grade ranking, the average grade of each player, South Carolina was over a 91, and the quality, not the quantity, but the quality of players equaled out to South Carolina having the number 9 class in the country behind Georgia. So you don't bring in a lot of guys, but you bring in a lot of high quality guys. And Julian Walker helping that, Jazavion Currents, Darius Gray, Zion Giles, Aiden Harris, players like that that are big time prospects that will be expected to come in and make an impact. So that's what we got for tonight. It was about 27, 28 minutes. I hope you enjoyed it. Just a little Gamecock football talk as we've got so much stuff going on. I mean, who knows by noon tomorrow when I get back to the studio what we're trying to discuss then. But the plan is to break down what South Carolina's losing. Also, we got news today that next Tuesday night, and we'll maybe do a live stream for that. No, next Thursday, the 11th. Next Thursday night, they will announce the dates for the South Carolina football 2026 schedule for all of the SEC. So next Thursday night on the SEC network, we'll actually get the dates. So my question to you for tomorrow's show, giving you a little homework, is who do you want to see South Carolina play in those first 3 conference games? I looked it up the other day. The Gamecocks will open with 2 non-conference games. Nobody else has an opening of the 9 conference teams they are scheduled to play. So the Gamecocks will play 2 non-conference. They will then play 9 straight conference games. A bye week will be mixed in, and then Clemson. But who would you want to see them play in their opening 3? Because you need to come out of that opening 3 2-1. That'll be pretty imperative. So anyway, we'll talk more about that. Maybe do another live stream next Thursday night. But I hope everybody's had a great night. I hope you stayed well. Merry Christmas to each and every one of you going into the first full Christmas weekend. Hope you're enjoying yourself. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Do whatever you click subscribe, be a part of it. I got the mental health videos going. That's become very, very, very important to me, given my situation with the kidney disease and what I'm going through right now, which is why I'm in the recliner and I'm trying to learn to do this. Earlier, I was messing with the background. I thought, I don't know. Let's see what happens here. No, I don't know why it's not. I don't know why it's not popping up a background on that. I don't. I have no idea. I have zero. I put a beautiful Christmas cabin on there too. Maybe you've seen my background. I don't know, but I put a beautiful Christmas cabin as my background, and for some reason, it's not applying it. I have to play with that later on. So, y'all have a great night. That was about 30 minutes. Gamecocks now down 2 on ESPN. You can flip over now up 1. Now up 1. Up 1 with 7 minutes to go. Canes and Maple Leafs. Maple Leafs up 1 there as they get the second period going. Y'all take care. Have a great night. And I look forward to doing this again. Hope you enjoyed it. And we'll talk soon. Take care.